So let's be dramatic. Here's what's going to happen. All right. Regardless of who gets into the White House. And we're probably about 80% sure it's going to be the corpse. And I hate to even say that out loud, but let's just be honest. We're going to say it. And the reason the corpse is going to get there is because nobody cares about corruption in the country. Let me say it again, because there's some people who just checked out and said it's Russiagate. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Tractor trailer filled with ballots goes across state lines. What could go wrong, right? Ballots underneath a table. Let's wait till everybody goes, and then we'll feed them in the machine a couple of times, and and then you got this Dominion software, which, I'd love some of that software at the bank, because I'm thinking that, I could juice up my numbers pretty good. I could say, hey, every dollar I put in, can you count it as $1.75? Can you do that? Oh, sure, it's Dominion. No problem, sir. So what's going to happen? Well, I'll tell you. Civil unrest. If people thought that Donald Trump wasn't a legitimate president, and here's my theory, okay? They didn't have a contingency plan in 2016 in place because they just thought Hillary was going to roll. Trump didn't have a chance. He was just doing this for publicity. I hear this all the time. A guy who is doing it for publicity wouldn't be fighting this hard to stay at this point. Maybe he was doing it. Who knows? But he campaigned circles around Hillary in 2016. He can't, he did even more. He campaigned even bigger circles around Biden, like figure eights, this time around. Even worse, because Biden was in the basement the whole time. I no longer care if people like the fact that I'm kind of still supporting President Trump. I'm supporting the Constitution. I'm supporting the rule of law. I'm also supporting fair voting and voter integrity. That's what I'm, in election integrity. That's what I'm, voters, some of them don't have integrity, but the election system we know certainly does not. So seriously, what's going to happen in the future? Well, if the corpse gets in, you want to talk about a president who's not a legitimate president. Now, you've got never Trumpers and you've got neoliberals, right? And who are all going to band together. And then there's going to be an uprising of patriotic people across the country that say we need to fix, number one, we have to fix this system because we're not voting again if the system is like this. That special election they're having in Georgia, how the hell can you have an election? How can you even stop, full stop, pull the plugs? They're still using the same software. They're still doing the same thing they were doing. They mailed out 750,000 ballots or something. Stacey Abrams, who's running the show down there, basically doing whatever she wants to do and convincing people to do it. She's going to arm twist. Maybe there's all a bunch of blackmail that she has. She's got stuff on the governor and the attorney general and the lieutenant governor. I mean, there's got to be a reason. I know everybody's in bed together. Everybody's reaping the benefits of this new ruling class economy, which benefits the ruling class and leaves the peasant class begging for crumbs. Please give me a stimulus, please. No, how about open up the businesses? How about stop the nonsense? How about check the PCR test to actually see if it's accurate? Why don't you do some of those things and then get back to me, before I have to, have our money supply completely corrupted yet again with more phony money. It's like Mr. Krabs. Phony money that's being dumped into the system. There's so many things that are bothering me right now. People who I thought were my friends kind of just changed quickly. I decided, like I said, to vote for Donald Trump. I don't regret. In fact, after what I'm seeing, I don't regret my vote at all. I mean, the libertarian ended up being a joke. She ended up being a complete joke. All right. And see, to talk about, oh, she's going to win, the Green Party candidate was a bigger joke. All right. So between Trump and Biden, Donald Trump. Okay. I mean, he's, believe it or not, he's less corrupt. Okay. If you want to, and way less corrupt. All right. I don't think he was smart enough at the beginning. I've said this before. He was not smart enough to do this Russia. He wasn't smart enough. He was just like, wow, I'm the president. And honestly, I think he got better as time went on. The job he did, he got better. He stopped listening to his son-in-law. He started talking about taking troops and bringing them home and so forth. Yeah, I know. The numbers aren't as good. But what are you going to get with Biden? Okay, you're going to get full speed ahead. You know what you're going to get on troops? You're going to get Operation Warp Speed. That's what you're going to get on troops, meaning more troops. Let's deploy them. And they're all saying America's back. That's what Biden said. America's back. No, America, the people want America back. All right. And Trump is an imperfect vessel to unite the country. But man, he's right about a lot of stuff. He is. He's right about the rule of law. He's right about law and order. Everybody's like, oh, I'm so afraid he might send troops. You know what? There might be some private troops that get themselves together at this point that take matters into their own hands. Hence the Second Amendment, people. Well, that's scary. Are you promoting something? No, I'm not. I'm saying that, there are going to be states, if this continues the way it is, where there are no checks and balances on anything. There are going to states that say, we want out of this. Secession. We want out. We want Texas, Florida. I don't know, South Dakota. The states are going to say, well, I don't want to do this anymore. This is not a more perfect union. This is a union that's falling apart. And the future looks really, really, the dark winter thing that just magically came out of the corpse's mouth. Well, that's true. That's true, because there's going to be a long, and not just on this COVID thing. The dark winter has to do with where our country is headed politically. We are in a lot of trouble. And if Trump somehow stays, there's going to be civil unrest. If Biden gets in, more than half of the country is going to tune out. And by the way, there are progressives who are equally upset because at least they understand the logic. They don't like Trump, but they say, you know what? That whole thing, because they know what happened to Bernie Sanders twice. They know what happened to Tulsi Gabbard. They know that they just rig this stuff. They tweak algorithms. Again, if I had that Dominion thing at the bank, I could tweak it and say, hey, could each of my dollars that I put in, could that be worth like $1.75? Can you do that? I bet you they could do it. The corruption. Nobody seems to really want to get to the bottom of it. People are all talking about something else now. Oh, this is why I'm not a conservative. This is why I'm not a liberal. This is why I, pick my nose during breakfast. I mean, really? Unless you're, let me put it this way. I get it. You could do a couple of things. You could tune out and just try to live your life and see if you can, function without the government doing something or mandating something. You could do that. Or you could fight. You could fight for the Constitution. You could fight for the Bill of Rights. You could fight for the 10th Amendment. You could fight for real voting, because if we don't have real voting, we don't have a country. Just like I believe if the country doesn't have a border, then you don't have a country either. So no border, no voting system that works where my vote is recorded. My vote here in Florida was canceled out by somebody else. Well, what do you mean? Well, I mean, yeah, it's great. Florida, I don't know how many electoral votes. It's 20 or something like that. Probably more. Might be 30. I don't know, 25. Anyway, my vote was canceled out by somebody in a corrupt state or the corrupt state actually canceled out my vote. Probably wasn't a person, because the person probably voted the way they wanted to vote, and then their vote was not recorded accurately, or it was dumped, or a bunch of other votes were dumped into the system, because a corpse can't get 80 million votes. I'm sorry. More votes than Barack Obama? Way more votes, right? No. It's the whole thing. It's lunacy. And the people who got screwed, which should be all Americans, by the way, even if you voted for the corpse, because if your voting system is broken and doesn't work and it's corrupt, then your vote is just as stupid in the next election. And it'll never end. It's going to be, I mean, I say banana republic, but it's worse. It's worse than that, because we're such a big country and all of these moving parts, and yet the corruption is so well organized that they were able to pull it off. So anyway, those are a few of my random thoughts for today, as we are past the safe harbor day and getting closer to the day where the electors have to get together. We shall see if any of these lawsuits and things that are going on do anything. It's just, who knows? Who knows? I feel like I've been gaslit this entire year, and they just turn it up. And imagine the media not even covering that the state of Texas, decided to sue a bunch of states that didn't do what they were supposed to do, as far as the election, as far as their own state constitutions. And that affects the entire country. And this is why there are going to be a bunch of people that say, hey, we've got a big state with lots of natural resources. Why don't we just be our own country? Who needs this crap, right? Who needs the federal government? They screw everything up anyway. And they do. They do. They totally screw things up. It's time to start over. Maybe have your own little petri dish of economic prosperity and see how it works. So anyway, I'm done. Thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you soon.